Yeah. Welcome to another day of the DQ Labs conversations. This happens every Monday. And today we are having a session on NIFT 2022, your preparation strategy. Now, the NIFT exam is coming up shortly. The dates have not been announced yet, but yet you need to be ready for this. And in this regard, we've got Mr. Sean Disa, who's the co-founder of DQ Labs, who's going to be talking to you about the your preparation strategy over the next few months for NIFT 2022. So, Sean, over to you.
Yeah. Hi, Dion. Can you hear me?
Yes, you're audible. Please do share your screen.
Just give me a minute and I will share my screen. Good evening, everyone. And today we're going to be talking about Nift, a basic about the exam and basic strategy. I'm going to be, just give me a minute. Just give me a minute and I will start off.
Sure, no worries.
Okay. Yeah, I'm sharing my screen.
Okay.
Okay. Let me know when you can see my screen, Dion.
Yes, your screen is visible.
Okay, fantastic. Okay. So, everyone, we're going to be talking about NIFT 2020. And last year it was held on the 14th of Feb. So, this year the prospectus and the dates have not yet come out. But so, how we're going to go about it is basically we're going to like say for example when the dates have not come up and the prospectus have not come up, brochures not come up, the best thing to do is to go by last year's dates, right? And when you go by last year's dates, you'll be able to kind of use those dates approximately, and it'll be like plus or minus 1 or 2 weeks here and there. Okay, but we'll go by last year's dates and information as per last year's brochure and last year's exam. And as soon as they, if they update anything shortly, then immediately we can have another set of conversation, another DQ Labs conversation in detail, and get the updated version. But for now, we will go with what we have, what the information that we have. Okay, great. So I'm going to be talking about important links and announcements and participating institutes, breakup pattern, and we'll also look at some rough examples per section. Also a strategy, basic strategy, what you can use for this, and some. And we'll open this to question and answers and things like that later on towards the session. So, of course, your important link there is the Nift link and admission, the one that you can see on the screen. And just FYI, last year the CAT exam was held at 10 in the morning and on the same day. So CAT part of the paper in the morning and the DAT in the afternoon. And of course, that's not likely to change. It's going to be the same. It's a 3-hour paper in the morning and a 2-hour paper in the afternoon. So you get a break in between. And situation tests later on, situation test will be in the month of April, May. That is a 2-hour test by itself. In fact, we will have a different session for the situation test itself. Okay. So these are the different NIFT participating institutes, 17 institutes all over India. Okay, and you can see the map out here of these different institutes all over India. And these are all the different institutes that you have a chance to go by. And also, we will come back to this looking, okay, in fact, let's have a look at the website, the Nift admissions website. So if you look at this is a very important website. So that's why I'm showing you where you'll get all your information. And you have important dates. You have, if you look down, downloads. Can you see this downloads out here on the screen? Where you have Prospectus 2021. Okay, so that's out there, the Prospectus 2021. Sample question paper. So right now the link is not working, but later on, just more towards the exam, usually they will fix that link and you will get that. Okay, you should be able to see some sample question papers. So right now that link is not working. And also very important out here, you can see the last merit rank admitted in admissions of 2020. Okay, so that's a very important link. Can you see this? If you click on this, this is what you get. So you get the last merit rank. So let's say, for example, if you go up here to Bengaluru, so Bengaluru for fashion communication, right? Can you see this out here? So it will tell you category wise what is the opening CMR and the closing CMR, or the common merit rank. Okay, so if you see here, the opening CMR for, or rather the closing CMR is what you should look at. For fashion communication is 179. Okay, so that means if you are within 179 ranks all over India in the general category, you will get, you could get fashion communication in Nift Bangalore. Okay, and this changes, of course, from year to year. It will vary by a few ranks here and there, but overall, this gives you a good guide. So if you're looking for a specific Nift in a city, specific city, a specific branch, you can get all the information here, and you'll know according to the rank where you should stand for you to get a seat. So like I said, extremely important link. And of course the prospectus, very, very important. It gives you a lot of information about the program, the weightage. Say for example, if you look at the CAT, GAT, situation test, weightage, it also gives you the test timings and things like that. So extremely important to go to the brochure as well. And where, once again, where it is, it's here on this link, nift.ac.in/admission, and under downloads out here, if you can go and see out here. Okay, so let's get back to our presentation. So these are the different institutes that offer the Nift program, and of course you have the Nift test weightage, okay, which determines your final ranks, the ranks that we just saw out there. So the weightage for CAT is 50%, and weightage for the GAT is 30%. So few months, only those students who clear and are selected for round one will be eligible for the situation test. Okay. Now, also it's important to note, last year, due to the pandemic, they cancelled the situation test. So students were waiting for the situation test for a couple of months, and in the end they said, okay, your admission is just based on there's no situation test, and admission was just based on round one. So based on how you performed in round one, they were all given admissions and the final rank. So please be careful that you have to do extremely well in round one. Hopefully it shouldn't happen a third wave, but if it does happen, then it will be the same kind of situation that was there last year. Okay, so let's go a little bit more into the test. So we talked about the creative ability test as well. So creative ability test is, we'll go and have a look at some examples of some students work online. So three questions to be answered in 3 hours. So three questions, 3 hours, you literally have 1 hour per 1 hour per question, and quite honestly, in my opinion, it's quite comfortable. So you should comfortably able to, I mean, if you like say compare this to other design exams, you've got to finish, you don't have this much of luxury in time. Like every question literally you've got to finish like in 20 minutes, max 30 minutes, everything. Whereas here you have the luxury of time, so you can easily if you've practiced well enough, you can easily comfortably finish a lot of work here, even color, put a lot of details, put a lot of write up, and so much you can do, okay, in that basically 1 hour per question, okay. Now, quite interestingly, for the last 2 years, they have given a good variation in questions, much better than what they would ask in the past. For example, past typically they would, say design a shoe for the year 2050, or design a bus stand for the year 2050 and things like that. I mean, they have been asking that for many years, and they had a standard type of questions. But very interestingly, for the last 2 years, they have varied the questions, which I think is quite welcoming, a little more based on more design thinking. For example, design a space for a virtual space for a webinar. Like I said, we look at some few examples. Design emojis, design given a complete complete the sketch given an environment. So they'll give you a small environment or something, and they'll say add things to that environment. Let's look at examples. Comic strips, sequence of events, which I think is fantastic. um, Objects for different occasions on different festivals. These are very traditional kind of questions, like design something, like design a musical instrument for Christmas or Diwali, or something like that. Okay, so, and your regular kind of graphic questions. Let's have a look at the kind of questions, and then maybe we'll be able to understand better. So the first type of question, a virtual space, design a virtual space for a webinar. So let's see what some students have done. So if you look here and go to, this is our DQ Labs software. If you go to past question papers, an ID, so you, FYI, you have all the past papers listed out here. Can you see 2020, 21, 19, 18, and so you can get all the papers in one area. And you have two sections, section 1 aptitude, section 2 sketching, or other GAT and CAT. And we will come back to the GAT a little later. But first, let's have a look at the sketching kind of questions. Okay, so here you have question number 1. Design 2 options for a virtual space given the 2 boxes below, and write a title for each option. Okay, so there are some sample work here from students. Okay, and if you see here, you can see this. So design a workspace. So literally, like if you were a user experience designer and you had to redesign Zoom, or any kind of image, or any kind of UX webinar, how would you design that? So this is quite an interesting example here. Okay, so 2 boxes, 2 options, right? And write a title. So you also have to write a title for each of these. Okay, so that's one example out there. And what I found quite interesting is what this girl had done here. Look at this one. I think this is fantastic. So this is a complete, I know it may not be complete and she's not written her title and all that, but I think it's an amazing concept. And if the student can build on this concept and do something better, it looks really nice. Looks like a honeycomb structure, and a very fresh and different design, right? So don't be afraid to give some nice, bold, new, fresh designs. And I think this is definitely a very good example of that. Okay, maybe we can pick one more. So let's pick one more here. So this is also another space, like a webinar redesign. So this is literally like like a UI UX kind of design, like designing wireframes or designing information design. So I think it's fantastic that Nift is asking questions like this, and these are more challenging. And if you're a creative person, then your skills will really come out here, and I think this is really good. Okay. Of course, the pandemic has kind of brought out such questions. Let's have a look at another answer here. Can you see this? Waiting for the view screen to be waiting to view shared screen, or waiting to view shared screen. Very interesting. Okay, so that is like, the first kind of question there, virtual space webinar. A second was like an emoji, and of course, so this software is uh, uh, here in this DQ Lab software. If you do your work and upload your work, you can rate yourself with these parameters here on the side. Here you got to choose and upload your work, and once you upload your work, you will be able to see other students' work as well. Okay, when you scroll down. So let's have a look at this question here. Design an emoji for any one of the following emotions: see you, shh, good night, good morning, don't know. Okay, very interesting. So icon design, um, um, pictogram design, right? So emoji design, fantastic. Okay, so don't know. So this is one of the answers here for don't know. Don't know. Yeah. So in fact, see the context in the presentation, even on the well. So there's an actual conversation going on, and there's a question being asked. By the way, is chapter 6 out of syllabus? And very neatly the student has kind of put the don't know as part of the answer. Fantastic. Okay, so some other student has given a little more refreshing, something different, right? I mean, rather than the usual yellow icons that we're used to. And yes, so interesting. Okay, great. So this is another type of question, another type of question. Okay, so this is your typical traditional question, like which has been asked in the past, like, last 5 years, 8 years. Choose any musical instrument and depict it in 4 festivals in the given box below. You can change the shape, color, pattern, and size of the instrument. Okay, name the instrument and mention the festival under each box. Okay, so once again here, so it's like basically taking a musical instrument and giving it 4 different festivals for it, right? So in fact, let's take this one. Can you see here? So this is a musical instrument that's taken, and theme given is Christmas, Onam, Easter, Diwali. So you can see the 4 different variations of this same musical instrument. So typically, like, even they ask you different things like design a handbag for a marriage, or for shopping, or for trekking, or outdoors, or something like that. So they can give you different scenarios for these kind of questions. Okay, good, interesting, fine. So next, they had also asked the previous year. They had asked things like comic strips or sequence of events. Let's have a look at those kind of questions as well. So let's go to one more paper in the past, Nift UG 2020. So this kind of question is interesting. So they've given you like complete the following composition. So there's a bike here, a two-wheeler, a motorbike, and they're saying complete the following composition. choosing any one of the following topics, like 2 human beings or 1 human and an animal. So you literally have to take this and put a human or an animal in the scenario. Okay, so if you go here, I think this is quite interesting. Can you see this? So they've taken the object and they've put 2 human beings here in the scenario. I think it's fantastic. Yeah, so that's an example. So you got to be well practiced with these kind of questions as well. And this is interesting. Even though they have said, or 2 animals. Okay, fine. So they've even said 2 animals as well. So can you see this? Pretty creative. So the entire, so not only, so the student has given more details like the environment, and I like the creativity. Can you see the rabbit looks like some tough rabbit with some like a cut, like he's got some stitches on his cheek, and he's in a rabbit patch trying to protect his rabbit patch. So I think it's pretty interesting. Yeah. Okay. So this is the okay. This is nice. Okay, this is cool. Can you see this? So there's a bike out there, and there is somebody standing on it, and they're doing some gymnastics on that bike. Interesting, creative. Okay, so I think that's pretty cool. Okay, so let's look at the other type of questions. Create a comic strip and sketch in it the 4 given frames with the topic given. Like say, for example, here the topic is your journey to Mars. So you have to create a comic strip in the 4 frames on your journey to Mars and give a caption for the same. Okay, so let's have a look at some of the, okay, quite interesting. So that's the person and the person traveling and going to Mars. So in my opinion, like say for example, sketch 2 and 3, that is top right and bottom left, are almost the same. So try and give a variation to that as well. At least you can change the angle, the way it looks. For example, if this may be the rocket, so maybe you change the view, maybe a top view like that, coming towards you, like the rocket coming towards you, and the camera is in that direction. So you need to change that and make, so these two frames look similar, but you can be creative and improvise on that. Okay, so let's have a look at other sketches. Look, an alien. Oh no, humans finished the water. Now they finished their water. Now they're going to water mine and slap. Oops, and things like that. Okay, interesting, very creative. So I would really say these kind of questions are very welcoming, and hopefully that they will continue in this line and ask a good variation, which um, which students can test their creativity. So let's have a look at this one. So Jupiter collection, so collecting samples. Okay, fantastic. Okay, great. So comic strips, in fact, instructional design, they've also been asking instructional design, right? Or me as a fish. So this is another kind of comic strip with you as a fish. Okay, have a look at this one. Very interesting. Okay. Question 4, you visiting a dentist. Okay, fine. So basically storyboard kind of questions. And the next type of question that they've asked here, at least in 2020, was color one of the following grids based on the topics given below and express your idea in 60 to 80 words. So that's important. You need to keep time for that. Also creative writing. So you need to write something there as well. So see the grid, color the grid, and express it in a certain amount of words as well. Okay, so this is another type of question. Let's look at one more paper before we go ahead. So let's say 2019. Okay, let's say section 2, design an umbrella for the year 2020. So this is very typical of the kind of questions that, like I said, they've asked in the past. And of course, so my feedback here is when you're doing something like futuristic, right? So do not hesitate to include technologies that do not exist as of today. So don't worry about it being, oh, does it have to be practical? Does it this technology does not exist? This is too expensive. So see, when you say too expensive, like what was, like, say when laptops first came out, they were very expensive. I'm talking about say 93 or 94, and it was 1 lakh for a laptop those days, which will have not even 1/100th conversation configuration that you have today, and you can still get a laptop today for a much lesser price, okay, which performs maybe 100 times better. So with the help of time, with the help of mass production, with the help of scale, we are able to bring things down far more cheaper than it can get. So therefore, feel free to use technologies that don't exist. You make use of software, UI, UX, nanotechnologies, futuristic technologies. Okay, in other words, you can predict the technology. Okay, so that would be the best way to answer these kind of questions. Okay, let's have a look at this one. So hydrographic. Okay, so hydrographic is holographic, sorry. So it's like a hologram, and there's something on the arm, and you press that, and it pops up like a full hologram, and not only just pops up, it protects you. I think this is very interesting. So, like I said, do not hesitate to use future technologies and things like that. Okay, fine, fantastic. So let's go to another type of question here. Okay, so given the basic geometric shapes, a rectangle, a circle, a hexagon, a right angle triangle, right, a teardrop, you can rotate it, and you can rotate it but not slice. Create a letterbox. Sometimes when they say create a letterbox, they can ask you to create 3D shapes, or they can ask you to create 2D patterns. Okay, so okay, these are some examples of some work here. And yes, examples of some work. Okay, can you see that? Okay, so these are typically the kind of questions that you will get in the first category. We'll also have a glance at the questions you will get in the second type, that is the GAT, right? Okay. So if you look at your GAT, the GAT is broken down into like the following: quantitative ability, 20 questions; communication ability, 25 questions; English comprehension, 25 questions; analytical ability, 15 questions; general knowledge and current affairs, 15 questions. A total of 100 questions to be answered in uh, in um, 2 hours. Okay, so obvious, and you can flip through questions, obviously. So I would say look at the areas that you are comfortable with, and you can score more. Like, say for example, you can jump to general knowledge and current affairs, because there you know for a fact whether you know the answers or not. You can quickly, the first thing to do is quickly answer all the questions you know. Like, for example, rather than starting off with English comprehension, or where you got to read a lot, and answer questions accordingly. So you can get general knowledge out of the way. If you're good in math or problem solving, you can get quantitative and analytical out of the way, and then focus on communication ability and English comprehension. So go straight for the areas that you're strong at, answer them, and if you're getting something that you do not know, don't waste your time. You can always come back to that later. First, go through the entire paper and answer all that you can answer first. So like I said, go for general knowledge. It depends from student to student. Okay, If you're comfortable with quantitative or analytical, you can go to that first. If not, GK first and current affairs, and then whichever area that you find comfortable. And obviously, the best thing to do is to the best thing to do is um, um, go through past year's papers and do that. Okay, so there's a question here from Vedika Kabra. So Vedika has asked, in the letterbox, did it need to be 3D or 2D? Okay, so um, in the actual exam, Vedika, they're not clearly defined whether it needs to be 2D or 3D. So the answer to your question would be, you can answer it 2D or 3D, because in the exam they're not clearly mentioned that the letter, they're like, was it a physical letterbox or was it a 2D graphic representation of a or an abstract of a letterbox. Okay, so if that's the case, then they're both open. You can do what you're comfortable with. But if they say create a 2D graphic pattern, then stick to 2D. Okay, but if they keep it open-ended, you can do both. They are both correct. Okay, it depends on the question. So read the question carefully. Okay, I hope that answered your question. Yes. So coming to the second part of the question, the GAT, yes. So you can, let's go back to here, we'll go back to 2021 and aptitude. So you can click on attempt now and you get all the kind of questions here. So if you want to see a sample of the different type of questions being asked, you can easily go through all these. So this is obviously a quantitative type of question, right? And you can go through any of the questions here and answer and take all these practice tests, okay? So there's a lot of practice tests here and past year's papers which are given out here, GK type of question, right? So obviously you have to go through past year's papers, and that is the best practice that you can get. So if you look here, there's so many past year's papers starting right from 2013, and there's so much of information that you can get out here. Okay. So I would say before you start, if students who have not, please take one test. Please especially go through the GAT part. Try and understand how you can understand the question, the pattern of the paper, the type of questions being asked, the degree of difficulty of questions being asked, understand which areas here that you're strong in and weak in, the areas that you're strong in, strengthen it, areas that you're weak in, attack it and allocate your time to practice and solve more questions. Okay, fine, great. So we have a question here from Vedika Kabra. So which book should we refer to the GAT part? Okay, so typically Vedika, so GK will have like maybe sometimes GK you need to get it from a different source, sometimes analytical ability you can get from a different source, but two things I would suggest is either, like say for example here, DQ Labs, you can go to this learn section. So we have been doing a lot of students, we've been teaching students for so many years, more than 14-15 years, and you have everything out here put together for you in the same area. So it's an excellent source of information for your Nift study. Okay, if not, you can also refer Arihant, also is pretty good. Gives you a lot of practice for ability, for analytical reasoning and things like that. But generally GK and to put it all together, this difficult to find GK and current affairs in a given space. So here at DQ Labs, we have a team that puts all information for you all together in a comprehensive way. So hopefully that was helpful for you. Okay, so Vishwanath V asks, I am an aspirant of USEED and NID, and I am in 2021, 12th pass out, and now I'm preparing for these exams. So how much time should I put up in sketching and theory every day? So Vishwanath, Dion, we had covered for USEED and USEED specifically, we have covered one, I think 1 or 2 weeks ago. If you could please paste the link there for Vishwanath, and Vishwanath, you can refer to that. It's given to you in detail. And in general, FYI, to answer your question, for both NID and NIFT participants, um, I would say minimum of 1 hour every day. And if you like, say, got a Saturday, Sunday, and more time, stretch it to 2.5 hours. And as you go towards the exam, make it 2 hours a day for sketching. See, it depends. Some students are good in their sketching, some students are not, or some students are already highly practiced. So if you're really good in sketching, then you can keep in touch. But if you're not, you really need to put in more uh, effort out there, because you can score a lot. Oh, he has attended the UC webinar. Okay, fine. So you can score a lot. So the answer is between 1 hour to 2 hours every day. Okay, and like if you look at the breakup here, even here the weightage for CAT is very high. So if you smash that section, you have a huge advantage. Okay, Dion, can we go to the next? Uh, um, can we go to the next section in which you can show how you can get your analytics on
Sure,
D2H?
sure,
Yeah.
sure. I'll do that.
Yeah.
Just give
I'll
me
stop
1 second.
sharing. Okay.
Sure. All right. So for those who are keen on joining on preparation for UC for NIFT 2022, please do one thing. The relevant links are in the description of this YouTube webinar. So just go down to this YouTube webinar, see in the description, and you'll get these links there. Now, what you need to do is click on Take Test. Make sure you select the right course and click on Take Test. When you click on Take Test, you will find access to all of these. Very important. And you'll also see a box like this, which asks you to take some actions. So what you can do is, let's say you want to take one of the tests, and let's say Nift UG 2021. All right. Now, if you do click on this, it's very important that you, and I can't reiterate this enough. So if you've heard this before, please listen to it again. It's very important that you not only choose your answer, but the method that you're using to choose this answer. Now, if you think about it, there are only 3 ways in which you can select an answer. You can either guess the answer, or when you look at the question itself, you know the answer, and you're looking at here, looking for the answer option here. Or the other option is you look at the answer options and then kind of match it to the question, right? So these are the only 3 methods. So if you know the answer when you look at the question, then you're using knowledge. You need to select knowledge. If you are looking at the answer options and then trying to match it to the question, then your uh, approach is elimination. And if you have no idea and you're randomly guessing, then your option is random choice. Now, it's very important that you keep doing this uh, in the right manner. All right, because when your reports are generated, you will get the reports in this manner. You'll see a report of section 1 and section 2. In the report for section 1, you have again two tabs. One is my answers and one is score anatomy. Under the my answers section, you will get, how many right, how many wrong, how many not answered, and what is the correct answer with the answer explanation. But additionally, you will, if you click on the score anatomy, you will get a distribution of how you have answered along with your approach. Now, why this is important? Because let's say in this case, I've scored a 98 out of 120, but my true score is 74 because the balance marks I've got by random guessing. And I may not be lucky in the exam again. So it's very important that I use that answering approach nicely and I get this kind of a graph. Now, once I get this kind of a report, what do I do next? That is given to me in my set 2 uh, of my report, which is it tells me what do I need to study first on priority, what do I study next, and what I do not need to study because I've already mastered this. All right. Now, there is no other platform that can tell you this, and every student here will get your own report, right? So you can focus on your own report. Now, in case you have the time and the patience to go through this, which we recommend, you can go through this and follow the suggestions. But in case you are possibly not too keen on going through the reports, you still have the option of just coming here and the same suggestions come in this manner. So you can just click on this and go into the topic suggested. But of course, this is a shortcut. It's not the best way. The best way is to actually go through the reports and reach out and formulate your study strategy. But in addition, now, like Sean mentioned, there are 17 NIFs, and it's not easy to get into all of the NIFs. Not all of the NIFs is something you may consider. So also make sure you click on this Explore Colleges tab. Um, Explore the college options that you have other than the NIFs and click on details. If you click on details, you will have the option to inquire, right? Maybe let me select another one. So you will, let's say this for example, you will be able to click on this inquire button. If you do click on the inquire button, one email will go to the university and one email and your contact details will be shared with the right person, and they will connect with you and give you the right information. So it's very important that you do this so that you get access to the right information. Um, and college information. But it's also important that you attend more of these webinars. Next week we're doing a webinar on NID 2022 preparation strategy. The NID 2022 brochure is out, so that's going to be the topic for next week. So the notification is going to be here. The notification is going to be on our YouTube channel. So please follow our YouTube channel and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and also follow us on Instagram so that you are updated with the latest information, right? Um, are there any questions on this aspect? What is the goal section? All right, all right. So there is a question on what is the goal section. Let me pull that up. What we'll do is we'll have a specific webinar explaining how you can use DQ Edge, where we explain the goal section and give you that information there. All right. So we'll schedule that webinar for all our students next week or coming week. All right. Thanks, Vishwanath. Sean, over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Dion. So, okay, some more questions have come up. The first, I'll pick up the question by Priyanka Rajakeshavan. She said, could you let me know about negative marking in the Nift exam? So, Priyanka, if you look at the prospectus here, right, you can see there, objective type tests are subject to negative marking. The negative marking will apply at a rate of 0.25 each a wrong answer. Okay, so basically, if you get a wrong answer, 0.25 marks will be deducted. Okay, and yes, so out here, your total number of questions is 100. So um, 0.25 mark will be deducted per question. Okay. So, what are the next questions asked? Okay, so yeah, so Sriram Gopalan, sorry, Alankriti has asked, how she wants to know a little more about the communication questions and what to expect in them. Okay, great. So if you go back here to Edge, right, past papers, okay. So let's say, for example, we go here and you click on Nift UG section 1 aptitude or GAT, if you say attempt now. So you'll see these questions here from 1 to 100. So question number 1 to question number 25, right, is more like English comprehension. Okay, so English comprehension is literally you need to read this entire passage and answer the questions given below. But the next question, so let's have a look at the English comprehension 25 questions, communication ability 25 questions, quantitative ability 20 questions. So let's have a look at that. So if you look at question number 26 onwards, right, so 26 onwards is your communication ability. Okay, so choose the, so here are some examples, Sriram. Okay, choose the option that is plural from the given word, or let's go to, yeah, choose options that are plurals. Okay, let's go to 28. So there's a blank space, fill in the blank space. Okay, I shall get the job between the blanks at the end of the blank space, whatever. The servant had finished his work when I blank space him. So you need to fill in those blank spaces just to show you examples of what communication ability is. Choose the word that is similar in meaning to the given word. Okay, basically synonyms and antonyms. Okay, so first of all, get yourself familiar with the type of questions. So if you go from 26 right up to 50, you will get all communication design kind of questions. Once again, 1 to 25, you will get all English reading comprehension type, and 26 to 50, you will get communication ability. And if you go 50 to 70 onwards, you're going to get quantitative ability. Okay, so the second part of our question, Alankriti, is how to tackle these questions and what to expect. Okay, what to expect in them is what I showed you. They'll give a sentence and they'll give you a blank space. You need to fill in that sentence, or they'll give you a word. This word is closest in meaning to which word, or what is the plural of a given word, right? So if you look on the screen, choose the word which is opposite in meaning to the given word, bizarre. Okay, so you can answer these really fast. So even though you have 100 questions to answer in 120 minutes, like if you space them out equally, you'll get about 1.2 minutes per question, around 72 seconds, 60 plus 12, 72 seconds. But literally these you can answer in 5 seconds or 10 seconds. So you will gain a lot of time specifically for English comprehension. Okay, so how to expect in them is what we answered. How to tackle these questions. Okay, in my opinion, communication questions are quite easy if you know your English language is a little basic and fluent. You can do very well in the section. Okay, if not, it would be best you need a source where you get a lot of simple words, antonyms, synonyms, and general grammar. If you know general grammar in English, and simple reading practice will really help. Okay, so that's what I would suggest. It's something you need to practice from now till the exam. You have time. Okay, if not, if you go even here under DQ Labs, under the Learn section, we have extensive course materials, especially in the English category. Okay, so English reading comprehension, grammar, language, antonyms and synonyms, vocabulary, spelling errors, idioms and phrases, singular and plurals. Okay, so if you go in here, there's a lot of information out here for you to practice from. Okay, so I hope that answers your question, Alankriti, right? Fine. So I will take Dion. We'll take the last question here for today. I mean,
Yes, sure.
okay.
Which?
In
You
fact,
want me to take the
yeah,
last question?
no. So when will the NID webinar be held? Vedika will be holding the NID webinar shortly, right, Leon? I don't know when
Same
the
time next week, 5 p.m. next week.
same time next week. Okay, so don't miss that. Especially somebody asked me about USEED and NID Vishwanath, right? You can also join the webinar and you can get more information. Okay, fine. So thank you very much, Leon.
All right,
Um,
all right.
done from my end. Any
All
more
right.
questions if you have, you can ask.
Yeah, thanks so much. And please remember to subscribe to this YouTube channel, the DQ Labs YouTube channel, because you'll be sent a notification next week on your mobile phone when we do the next webinar. So make sure you follow us and subscribe to our channel. Thanks a lot and have a good day.
Bye-bye.